Guys, welcome. Um, I'm live. As you know, guys, I'm in Tel Aviv, and um, they're attacking Israel and the U.S. And everybody, it's just crazy. They're attacking Iran, and Iran is sending missiles over to here. I've been in shelter all day. It seems like it it's it's been quiet for like 30 minutes, so I'm going live, and we'll do this short. I might have to cut it short to go to shelter. It might happen in 5 minutes. It might not happen at all. So we don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna try to do what I always do, which is stream my practice session, and hopefully it's valuable to you guys. Again, some of the subjects that I will be exploring, I am not um, fully accustomed with. So you're watching me struggling learning it just as much as you do. So um, if you want to draw along, that would be great. Either way, I always start with a gesture drawing sesh for like 15 to 20 minutes. Today we're gonna cut it short. Let's do it even 12 minutes, and let's go. Nya 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 nya. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Starting with some gestures as usual, and I have two gesture modes. One is like this, which is like going straight in with like anatomy and stuff. This is like if I have 2 minutes, I do this. And as you can see, some of this is exaggerated, of course. And the other mode is kind of like more of whatchamacallit, more of a like more of the gestural thing that you see. But I like doing it like this because at the end of the day, I like to include gesture within my my final lines. That's what I'm aiming for in terms of how I want to work. Like I don't want to. I'm just, I guess I'm not super patient, and I just want to have a final drawing as quickly as possible, like something that is in between a sketch and a final drawing, and that's what I would consider to be like a beautiful, like a good looking, um, you know, a sketch that feels good enough to show people as a sort of a final drawing of sorts, if that makes sense. Anyway, and I think like that's pretty cool for a 2 minute work. So you guys feel free to think what you think about it, right? I think this is actually the last pose that we did yesterday, but I don't mind doing it one more time. Today I'll be thinking about maybe exaggerating some of those poses, and because I reviewed my stuff last time, and I saw that one thing that happens when you kind of like don't do a more proper gesture like they teach is that you can lose out on some of the dynamism of the poses. and you can really exaggerate how dynamic things are, and get away with a lot sometimes. Really exaggerate sometimes your own drawing is like stiffer than reality is, like you don't even imagine how just how dynamic things actually are in reality. So that's I think something that's worth exploring. And she has, I guess the suit is kind of like designed for you to see contour lines and stuff, which is nice. So to contrast that, I'll do one that's more like properly gestural, and now I'll really exaggerate. So like you can see that I'm not as confident. Like I don't like to do that as much. I don't know. So like it's much more exaggerated, and now I can think about the anatomy within what the 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 blocking that I made. But as you can see, like the proportions are way off. I guess just because I'm not even used to working like this. Bro, I was drawing in fucking Shelter all day. And then you have to explain to your neighbors, like, oh, what are you doing? Are you drawing? Like, yeah, I'm drawing. So, are you like a what? An influencer? Yeah, kind of. I guess. I got lots of followers on Instagram, and then one day I drew a nude guy, and like 20,000 people unfollowed me, and there's a whole story right there, right? I mean, anyways, whenever I have a back like this, I would go and, you know, if I see the spine, I use the spine as a gesture line, or as a you know, as a contour line. Yep. You can really, you know, see the S curve on this leg. Right. You can see kind of like some people like to shorthand the glutes with like a butterfly, so you can really see that on this model. And really kind of like exaggerate this whole thing. Again, I think because I'm kind of like going against my nature here with this new process. The proportions are not as good, but Here we go. One more time. Right, move that aside. We got two more, and then today I want to go over I want to practice the knees before we go into calves. Yeah, that's what I want. And I didn't find like very good resources for knees actually. But I wanted to take some notes for myself, specifically on some of the bulges that you see at the knees and kind of like what they are. I feel like I never truly know what I'm drawing. So like when I choose to study something like anatomy, because anatomy, you don't need anatomy to draw a cool figure. Like you can have a basic recollection of kind of like what the shapes look like from various angles. So when I choose to draw, to study anatomy, and when I think about what I want to study, is like, it's because I have a question in my head that goes like, oh, I always draw this shape, but like why is it the way that it is? Like, I remember that it goes like this, but like why? And then once if you drew it and it looked cool so far, I mean, no problem. That doesn't make your drawing any less, good or important than if you didn't know than if you knew what you were doing, right? But once you sort of like learn just a little bit better and you have that understanding, then you become more well-rounded and you get you'll become much quicker in execution as well as just better at sort of like inventing your own designs. And I think that's where the value is for when you're studying anatomy. Like if you're just starting out and you want to draw cool figures, I don't think that you should study anatomy at all. I think that you should, study like mannequins, basic mannequins, do some gesture studies like this. Maybe study kind of like simplified anatomy diagrams. You really don't need to like do all the deep dive. I think that's like kind of like year 2 at least. I mean, look at me. I've been doing this for a while, and only now am I, diving deeper. And I do it in seasons where, I do some studying, I get tired of it, and then the next time I go back to studying, the human body again, I'm like, well, I can go deeper because I have prior knowledge, and it's also like easier to understand. Well, I have something to build on. Anyway, cool. So today what I wanted to do was to look at the knee. And I wanted to do 2 things. One, it's kind of like look at knees. 2 things, bro. One, I wanted to look at the underlying bone structure, which I've studied before, and it's basically what we see in this picture. Hey, man. 2 a.m. Where you at? So you basically have Indo, bro. Let's go. So I'm looking at the femur. Same as this diagram, basically. The femur and the tibia. And I'm so afraid of I'm afraid of the next time like the alarm comes up. Like if I have to go to shelter, that's gonna suck, but whatever. So right there. And what I want to look at is that movement, kind of like what the patella does. What it does when it's kind of like in a standing position. So we see that the way that it's portrayed is like it sits kind of like on that part on the femur side mostly, and we have this tendon that's connecting it to the tibia. Chow. Like so. And then I'm just gonna draw it at a slightly different angle, like more towards us. So when it starts tilting, Jorvin, do you follow me on Instagram? When it starts tilting, basically, okay, I see what happens. When it starts tilting. Oh, just on YouTube? Cool. I always wonder because like I'm just starting to like ramp up YouTube. Oh, dope. All right. So when we start moving, goddamn. When we start moving. Cheers, man. When we start moving, the femur on top of Lady Tibbs, right here. What happens is that Miss Patel, Miss Patelli, remains on, so it seems from this diagram, she remains on the femur side, right? Like so. Like so. Nyattaku genki desu ka? And okay, so we see it here. And then we have a little bend. It stays around there. But as we're sliding it all the way back, let's do the same position here. As we're sliding it all the way back here. 心配だけ。心配しないでください。As we start sliding it a little bit more backwards, maybe like so. We can see that it starts coming down into this gap. Cool. Cool. And I guess this tendon is really important to know because when you draw the knee, for example, like so, and you draw something like that, you can add this piece, right? This is not necessarily that beautiful, but you know that you have this little line that you can, this little detail that you can use here. Probably I would not mark it from both sides, but I would, you know, do something like this, perhaps. Like that's the shorthand that you know, but you don't know why it is. So that piece is this. All right. All right. Let's go here. So the other thing that I was curious about with the knee, again, just for myself here, just to get some clarity on what's going on, is kind of like what's going on here. And I guess you have a bunch of things that converge into the side here. And that would be things like the gracsalis, if that's how you pronounce it. And the sartorius, just like a bunch, there you have a bunch of tendons that converge into here. Right? Shit, I'm hot. And then from the other side, I guess you just have less stuff. So you have the whatchamacallit, ITB, right? And I wonder what it looks like when it's bent. I don't know. I assume something like that. Some of that connects down here at the tibia, so. Kind of like this. One more. 今何名様ですか? Whew, I'm hot. Another resource that I found interesting is this guy, KSM. And I found I found the part where he's talking about the knee.
That's going to help soften out. Look at that. See? Notice how it softens out here, the gesture of that portion of the leg, and gesture as well. Okay? Cool. But as we move down here now, there's going to be some other components here to pay attention to for the leg. First is going to be something called the tibial tuberosity, which is a little thingy right here that actually just connects the kneecap to the tibia bone, which is going to be the lower leg bone we talked about earlier. So that's the tibia right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then here on each side of the lower portion of the knee is going to be some 2 fat pads. Okay, a fat pad right here, fat pad right here, and that's basically going to create.
All right, this is the information that I couldn't find anywhere else that was new to me that I like to hear. So let's just you know what? Even let's take this. Let's take this one and try to. Let's use that.
That structure of the knee. All right, I know it looks complicated. We'll go over some more examples later, but this is kind of the everything, all the juicy info right here. So you got 3 fat pads, 1, 2, 3 around the kneecap here.
So these fat pads are super interesting to me because I have never heard about them. So let's quickly mark down our quad. And then this part here is basically what we talked about, just like a bunch of ligaments, what we looked at right here. So he marks it as one area. And then our guy here says, well, he says there are 3 fat pads. Basically 1, and 2 under the patella. Which I assume is why you sometimes see this double division when people draw a knee.
You got the quad muscles here, and then you have this tibial tuberosity, which adds here that little bit of gesture right here. Okay? All right. You guys good?
I'm good. I'm great. Let's go ahead and find some references. We're 30 minutes in, which is great. I'll go ahead and find references of actual legs, and then I will look for all the muscles I've been studying so far, which include everything from the top, everything from the top, from the buttocks down to the knee. Right. あっちゃん大丈夫ですか? Okay, these are good, but they're just a little bit low res. Wonder if I can find something just a little bit higher res. These are too dark for me. Hi. I don't want to talk about alarms because I know that the second I do, I'm gonna get it. Guys, I just wanna hide the part that I don't wanna have in the picture. Okay, whatever. Let's hope that we don't get flagged for this. Okay. Right, let's look at the upper portion. We have lots of muscles to look at here. Lots and lots. And I'm gonna just do both sides and try to see what's up. All right, just lightly give context with the calves, and then go into go into trying to define the skeleton underneath here. Maybe do it in black. Right, so again, I think pubic bone, 強いおじさん、そうですね, is going to be somewhere around here. We have like our heart shape for the pelvis. And then the greater trochanter. Somewhere around there, I believe. Then I'm going to use boxes to define where my knees sit. One, a little bit lower here. Sometimes I like to sort of like mark my direction before, like instead of going, out of starting from the greater trochanter and finding the knee, I start with the knee because I understand it better. Like I see the relation to everything else proportionally better, and then I can just connect the dots, which can be easier, I feel like. Wow. Wow. Great. Now we can start looking at the muscles. And actually, we see something crazy here, which is the point between the tensor and the sartorius. I believe that this is what we're looking at here and here, where, yeah. So, I believe that this is probably the tensor fasciae latae. Right? I believe so. I believe so. And this is the outermost quad head. This is the one on top. That's what it seems like. And here's the bottom quad. And here is the sartorius. And something like this. Right? And from the inside here, you get the adductors that I'm just grouping them. Right. And then our buddy told us that there's what he called a fat pad here. This guy does not have much fat at all, so I don't see any fat there, but there would also be the tendons. You can clearly see it here, like the small patella here, and the tendon coming out. That's what it seems like to me anyway. Maybe I'm confidently bullshitting. It could be. It could be. And then our guy told us that there are fat pads under here. I can't see it, but let's mark it in his honor. Well, this guy is so lean that we can't really see anything on this guy. Oh, but you know what? I think, there you go. I think I can see a little bit, a tiny bit of fat kind of like doing this. Possibly. Possibly. Cool. I think like the other side is just gonna mirror that, but let's do it anyway. Fasciae latae. Something like that. Really chunky adductors here. And then you can really see those insertions. Quad. Always going much lower, this one. Nice. Connecting it to the tendon. The one, especially the one on the bottom, the tendon on the bottom, very visible. Seems like cool. If you guys watch my videos, like my one video that I uploaded about my imagination drawing rant or advice, I always say that you should immediately draw shit from your imagination. So we're gonna do that now. Let's put that away. Let's take the same pose, just tilt it a little bit. Another angle from imagination, that's what I said. I stick by it. Always, always. Starting with pelvis. And drop me a greater trochanter. Also, I think it's a bit more like this. A bit more Mickey Mouse. And because the greater trochanter, it roughly aligns with this up there. So let's go ahead. Was it facing outwards? Yeah, just a little bit out. They're letting us, I guess they're letting us chill for a bit, and then at 3 a.m. they're gonna go back to not let us sleep. I can already see it. Right, let's start there. Now I'm gonna throw on this, I'm gonna throw just a little bit of a more of a like a gestural. And then we'll fix it up. See, because as you can see, I made like a mess with all my bounds and stuff. So let's go in and find some of those. Solidates. Cheers, my man. So we're just here getting back to the to the band of brothers, my man. And we see a little bit more of the gluteus maximus at the back. And hopefully we can connect it to a nice looking knee. So help me God. There was a TV show, Band of Brothers, wasn't there? You know what? The one thing that I forgot here, like when you have the sartorius, it kind of goes down and then it starts curving. But first it goes down a little bit. There's always this type of thing. And then the same thing here with the quad. I don't even remember what it's like, an army thing, right? And I don't remember the story. So there's that. Quad right here. I think I made a little bit of a mess, but not a like maybe a terrible mess. I'm not sure. Maybe I made a mess. I recently I used to watch a lot. I used to watch a lot, and I even got into like art house shit a little bit. I don't remember anything of it, but there was a time in my life when I was very unemployed. very depressed. And back then was my glorious watching days. I would just watch whatever. Okay, so now we connect it to the knee. All right, I think that makes a little bit more sense. Bro, it's not an easy job, like just creating all this shit from your memory and having it make sense. But if you can make it believable enough for people, they won't know that you fucked up so bad, right? Like people don't, remember anatomy themselves, so as long as it kind of feels right to them, you're in the clear, I guess. Nah, you wouldn't be able to see that. Is there something that you're watching right now? Okay. Yes, exactly. Proportional mistakes. Okay. Okay. Cobra Kai. I think I watched like one season or something. It's like one of the like it's a feel good kind of thing. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more before we go back to shelter. I know what I want to do. I know exactly what I want. Cobra Kai. I mean, here, like that looks kind of like something, right? So when I do something like this, I don't think about anatomy. I don't think about anything, but most of the curves are like anatomically meaningful. So like the anatomy that you learn here is only kind of like to further enhance your understanding of every detail. Yeah, exactly. This is kind of like working from silhouette. It's like this is what I want to people to understand, like people who ask me for advice. Um, you don't only work from silhouette or only work constructively or only apply your knowledge of anatomy. It's like the more of these skills you acquire, and then the more visual library you have in your head, the more you learn, the more you kind of like on the fly apply different things. And then you can think about it, like, but you think about it so fast, you're like, oh, I remember this piece of silhouette kind of goes like this in this instance. And then, oh, I remember that the form of this specific muscle, I can add that here. Like, and all of that comes to you so fast. And that's just like you're stacked up, the knowledge that you stacked up. That's how it works. It's not just like, oh, I'm the silhouette guy or I'm the constructive. It's like it's all together. So again, we can look at that. Greater trochanter would be around here. This would be the medius gluteus, gluteus. This is where the sartorius will be. And that way, we can extend the quads out of there. Band of brothers. Right? Gluteus maximus connects to band of brothers. Behind here, we're gonna have the hamstring. I have well, Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is, well, you know, where I got my initial following. And I also do like TikTok. Like basically I've been posting the same thing on all platforms. But TikTok has been like, I don't know, I get like almost 3,000 people on there. And the adductors will connect here. But all of this information was already embedded in my initial thinking. I mean, the only thing about the flag post is that I made his dick like a gun. And I guess you could interpret that as, you know, a militant stance. So I was like, I didn't mind losing, like having like minus 2,000 followers, but then I was like, for the next people, like my what was important to me was like, up until that moment, I was afraid to disclose my nationality, and then I made the choice to do that because I felt like it was I don't know. I feel like I'm concealing something, like my identity, and I have to use like properly use my um identity. So like I just whatever. Just the flag remains in the bio, which was what was important to me. Um, and yeah, the gun is the reason that I deleted the post. That's all. If that makes sense. So a little bit of tensor here. And yeah, I mean, it's not the media actually. So if we like, we can open this. I don't mind opening this on stream, but basically that's just the way it's always, like, even before, the recent events and stuff. Um, like being Israeli, who's always kind of like lived internationally, in the States and in Europe, wherever. Um, and this is like for the better part of like 15, 20 years. um, there are always people. No, I don't care. Like, there are always people who are like, who have a problem with you just because of your nationality. Even though they don't know you, they don't know anything about you. They already, like, they start talking to you, they have a problem with you. And that's just the reality of that specific background. But I guess it's the same as, like, I think also because of like my accent. So like in Europe, people immediately assume that I'm American. Um, and a lot of people had, a bunch to say about that as well, to be honest. No, it's actually like it's fine. It's like, it's a good subject because I think a lot of people, they don't know. They just don't. They have no idea that this is what it's like. Um, like to have your nationality as some sort of like it's like a bomb. It's like a bomb you're dropping. Like, oh, like I'm talking to this. Like, imagine you're talking to this person for like 20 minutes. You're like, you just met whatever, some dude, and you're having a good conversation. Like, you're laughing, whatever, and there's like, oh, where are you from? And they assume that you're like from Nebraska or something, right? And then you go like, oh, Israel, and then you see that some people's face change, like, ooh, like they don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, even though like up until that moment they thought you were cool. So I think that's not fair because I would not do that personally. If I'm vibing with someone, I would not turn on that experience. I would like to believe, but okay. So here I'm drawing this and I'm asking myself a question here, which is, where does the Sertorius go? Does it go here? kind of like. And then everything here is adductors, or do we see a little bit of adductor under here? I don't know. It's also possible that we see some hamstring tendon there. At a different time, I will tell you where I acquired my accent from. It's a long story. It's an interesting story, I think. And the last thing that I want to do is leg anatomy inside. Sully Deets, there was another person here before, except for you and like in the comments. Well, our top day was like, there were like, they were. I'm like, I think the most people that talked at the same time was like 4. Okay, it's this guy again. Look at that. Right, and the way that he describes it is kind of like that, and you do see a tiny bit of adductor in here. I think so, like I think it's hard. I don't know, like I had an idea to do like streams about analyzing Zhongyi drawings, and I think I could schedule that, and I think a lot of people would be interested, because this is kind of like deep anatomy stuff. But if you go like, oh, let's unlock the secrets of Kim Jong-gi, then people are gonna be like, yeah, I want to know how to do that. Oh, look at that pelvis. Yeah, I'm down. I would be down for that. Maybe I could advertise something like that on the gram, and then see if we can get people to come in and show their stuff. That's a good idea. I like it. I'm just suddenly interested in that in that pelvis drawing, because I think I tend to make mine a little too short. And this makes sense to me in terms of proportions. I mean, I like the proportions in this one. Whatever. Making sure if you do one critique and publish that with later next live stream. Yeah? Do you want to submit? Do you want to send something into the editor's system? My DMs, I guess it's my DMs. That's what it is. That's what the editor's system is. I think that's good. That's actually good. I'll put in my story. You can be the first. You can be the first one. Like DM me a piece that you want me to look at, and then I'll put in my story like for like maybe 3-4 more people to send something in, and then just the first people, I'll look at their stuff live and think about it. That's a good idea. Yeah, could be. No, but I mean, I'm gonna do it live, like on the next live or something. Like if God wills it and there are no crazy alarms tomorrow, could do it after learning about the cows or whatever. Okay, since that was kind of short, guess one other thing. Or I could just go like, that's a piece of shit, Sully Dietz. What in the hell? What in the hell, man? Let's do one last knee. I think that would probably make people afraid to tune in. Okay. Fat pad. Patea. Find your photos and be like, you ugly son of a bitch, never send in your drawings again. Right? It's about how you design it. Right. Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. That would be really narcissistic of me. I have to charge my computer. Whoa. Okay. Okay, and since there are no alarms and we're chilling and we're done with the knees, I want to do just a little bit more work on this thing that I've been working on. This thing. You can see me struggling on a couple more things like this background and this hand. This is my upcoming comic about how much I hate working for the man. Oh, it's Tim Team. It's the bee's knees. Oh, nice. Sully, your drawings are actually dope. But I see a couple points that I... What's up, Tim Tim? You're you're always late for the topic. when I'm done and I'm just like chilling and working on other stuff. Solly, I think your things are. Yeah, I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna tell you what I think. Not today, but I'm gonna gather a couple more and I'm gonna tell you what I think. But like they're really good. Like they're not bad. Like I think you have a lot going. I'm good, I'm good. Going back and forth in the going downstairs and upstairs and downstairs and upstairs. It's that kind of a day. Do you want to be part of art critique, Tim Tim? Cheers, Sully. Thanks for tuning in. I'll let you know when we do the crit. Guys, look. I'm always struggling with the fist from that angle. Let's see if that makes sense. 아짠 이르. What's the art critique? Basically, I was talking to Sully here, who just sent me some of his stuff over DM, and I'm just gonna go over it and give people my thoughts about their work, and if some people find that valuable, just sharing that kind of thing. Just something that we're gonna do. So if you want to do it, I don't know if that thumb makes any sense. Maybe I'll just leave it without it. So he's coming in here to kill the man. Imasu ka? Ii da yo na. I don't like that I have a piece of pencil that I have no idea where, like what layer it's on. Oh, I see. Well, once you have something, you're invited. You are invited. What are some things that I can have in the background of this office? Let's that looks like straight up AI. So much AI stuff. See, I knew that like the ceiling looks like something like that. Oh, I see. So like we can do like a window that goes all the way up there. Alarmは大丈夫です。なんもない。Please don't ask about the alarm because that is gonna trigger Murphy's Law. Please don't ask about it. The thing about digital is that it's a little bit harder to draw straight lines without using the assisted thing. Mirth? What do you mean? Guys, I'm still struggling with hands. Especially when I know that someone is watching. don't even know what pose I want to do. Is it Murph's law? It's Murphy's law. I know it as Murphy's law. What's Murph's law? No, I think the hand here should be like, should be like kind of crazy. Murph's law. I'm finding a Murphy law firm. It might be different here. I think there's a law in Interstellar about like, maybe it has to do with like the time. Oh, Interstellar's Murphy's law. Yes. Okay. Oh, I found the scene.
What's going on, Murph?
Why did you and Mom name me after something that's bad?
No, we didn't.
Murphy's Law.
Oh,
Murphy's
her
Law
name
doesn't
is
mean it's
Murph.
something bad. What happened? What it means is that whatever can happen will happen, and that sounded just fine with us.
I see. That's what it means. Iro ya bai. I think I don't like this. I don't know what to put in the background. Office. Oh, maybe something like cubicles. Yeah, I agree. Whatever happens to the hands. Okay, I'm just gonna make it a cubicle. Nani ga yabai? Kind of like a cubicle thing. I don't think there are cubicles anymore, as far as I know, but. Okay, and then I think that I just need to have a little bit better separation. And the other thing that we could do, I don't know if it will look good, but could throw in a tiny little bit of gray on these cubicles. And that makes it as if all right, guys. The war is back. God damn it. We're getting attacked by missiles, so this is the end of the stream for today. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully.